viewers, if you see me looking down here, it's because my laptop is right here where I can see everything. So, apologies for that. I keep going a little bit. I go inactive for a little bit, and I apologize for that. Life has been a little bit crazy recently. I don't even remember the last video that I uploaded, when that was, but I remember it being still snowy outside when I filmed it, I think, if I remember correctly. And I don't know, I've been super busy with my semester, as well as a lot of health related issues and preparation for camp, and that's what occupies my life pretty much every summer. So today I thought it might be fun to kind of go over some things and do a little whisper ramble, as well as look over some of my projects from this last semester of college as a graphic design student. This last semester was a lot more physical art based. Also, my air conditioning is kicking on right now, so if that bothers you, I apologize, but I figured we could go over some of my creations, some of the things that I was able to make this past semester, and just kind of talk about them, do a little show and tell. So if that's something that you're interested in, keep watching. Okay. I have found some of the things that I created over the past semester. I was taking 4 classes to be a full-time student at my college, and I also had criminal justice, which was the only class that did not have any art-related projects, so these are just 3 of my classes that I took. So this is just a select few of the things that I did. Not all of them are very tingly. Probably the only one that's gonna have the most like sound that could be created would be from, oh my gosh, what's in my hair? Would be from my 3D design class, but I had 2D design and 3D design, and I will probably just yap about some of those. So, oh, and I have color theory, which I absolutely hated that class, and maybe I'll just do a little bit of a brief talk about that as well, specifically because that class was literally awful. And I was really excited for color theory class, and I feel like I did not get that much from it, and I was going to try to find, I think I know where it is. I was going to try to find my final project for that class, and I can't currently find it. I think I know where it is though, so I might need to go off to find that, but we'll get to that. We'll get to my final projects eventually, or like my favorites, but let's get started. So the first project I did for my 3D design class, I actually don't have anymore because I really did not like it. I can probably share a picture of it. The first thing that we worked with was wire sculptures, and I did a looks like before I just keep rambling about it forever. She's a little big. So, I'm so sorry. It's a little heavy. Oh, yeah, this looks awful on camera. That's okay. This, I promise I'm good at art. These are probably going to be a little bit humbling of an experience to share. But I figured we could do a little show and tell of some of the art that I've created, even if it's a little bit ugly. I did ask about giving her pupils, and she didn't want me to do that, so I didn't. Plus, I just didn't feel like it. I also consistently feel like if I gave her winged eyeliner, she'd probably look a little bit more like me, and maybe some very thin false lashes. But she turned out pretty okay. Definitely does not look that much like me. Her face was a little bit more together, and it kind of ended up being a lot more square. Mine is more rectangle. But I do think the fact that, you know, we were supposed to do presentations with all of these and like talk about the process, what we think went well, and again, I do really like parts of the way that her hair turned out. I think it's almost a little bit stylized in a way, but it's not the worst. But, on a couple parts her hair cracked. This is also, this entire project, me and the entire table that I sat with, we did multiple art sessions and went in and just worked on them for like 4 to 5 hours. And we would order food, and the cracks here are actually because the very last night my friend was trying to help me get the hair coils on, and she didn't score the clay at all before attaching it to the head. So honestly, it's a wonder that half of the sculptures that were made didn't explode, because I know not everybody was scoring near the end of that for their hair. I know that. But I feel like, in a lot of ways, she reminds me of a kind of creepy siren. I don't know. I think part of that's too. I didn't give her hair very much volume at all. So she kind of just looks like she's wet. And I also didn't feel like making any clothes, so she's just a bust. A bust, a bust, a bust. And I kind of would love to see, I mean, I don't think she can, but I'd love to see her just sitting in like a bird bath or something, or like a little puddle, and looking like a siren, or like a lake lady. I don't know. But her hair, since it doesn't have that much volume, it looks wet to me. That's what I was trying to say. But still. Also, it's so sad, guys. It's so sad, guys. I was wearing fake nails for most of this past semester, and I wanted to make ASMR content with them repeatedly, and I just kept not having the time to. I didn't have the time to actually sit down nor the want or like the ideas, besides just rambles, which I always do a little bit of a whisper ramble, but still, there just wasn't any content was one of the warmer days of that week. There were motorcycles and children screaming, and my neighbor, literally, as I was recording with my window open, you could hear his Bluetooth speaker turn on, and I do have a couple videos of me like mildly tweaking out what was happening. But I don't know, I did not have a ton of time. I feel like her nose does not look too far off from mine, even though she's got a little bit of a bonier bridge, I feel. Okay, maybe they're not the same. She's an icon in her own right. Even if she's a little creepy and her eyes are not even, me neither, queen. We are who we are. That's okay. But this, I still got a decent grade on it. Not my favorite, but it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. So, but this was for 3D sculpture with clay. Gosh, my hands like kind of hurt after like dealing with all of that and like holding it for that long. Which reminds me, I also got a tattoo. I got 2 tattoos actually, which I can show you guys. I got a little ladybug. Excuse the bug bite. I just got camp literally just started this past week, which is also why I'm trying to film on a weekend when I'm home, because I'm line cooking and I will be like out of commission, which again is partially, I think I stopped talking about my nails like 2 seconds ago, but I can't have false nails right now or any nail polish of any kind while working at my camp, because I work in food service. I'm a line cook and I can't do that. So I am so sorry that we are stuck with my natural nails, which are kind of brittle right now too, so they're a little short, but that's what we're left with at the moment. But I have other tattoo. I have this on my arm, which says worship in the waiting. I don't think you can read it backwards, so I'll need to flip it for you guys, maybe send a picture, but it's cute. I'm very happy with both of them, and I don't know if I'll talk about health-related issues. I would show you guys, actually, okay, I will at the end. I'll talk a little bit about my health, because I did do a art piece on it, which actually gets picked up from my college tomorrow, because it was in an art show that our college did, but I'll talk about that. I'll speak about that a little bit later, but we can continue on. Okay, this is a no tan piece, which we did a lot of paper cutting in the beginning of the semester, and low-key, I hated it, but this was for my 2D design class. Essentially, you are folding a piece of paper in half and cutting away everything and then flipping it. I don't know if this is making any sense, but essentially the goal is to have the design even on both sides, and you don't throw away any of the pieces that you cut, you reuse them. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, but there's multiple videos online, and I can literally share the videos that my professor linked to us. This was after my trip out to Kansas supposed to do that. This. This piece is from my color theory class, which earlier throughout the semester we chose. Hold on. 6 colors throughout the first 7 weeks of the semester. We each just picked a color, and we're forming through those weeks a color palette that we would use for a few different projects. And I think I have the palette like actually somewhere, and I might put that up on the screen if I do. I don't know if I actually do have it, but it was a bunch of different images from generally Pinterest is where I found them. We'd have to write a little thing about it each week. And in the end I ended up with something remotely similar to this, although this is a little bit more brown in reality. And I promise it looked cleaner in person, and from afar it looks a lot cleaner. Literally I had paper get stuck to this area, but it's okay. It's fine. Yes. This was for color theory. This was something that I had a little bit more fun on, actually, because most of the art for this class was abstract. I might be able to put up a couple pictures for some of the other pieces that I did if I can find out where I put them. Generally speaking, I kind of hate the pieces that I made for this entire class. I was really excited to learn a little bit about color theory, and was sorely disappointed when I realized that we weren't really learning about much actual color theory in the way that I thought we would be. It was kind of basic knowledge on art. Like, it felt like you kind of needed to have that foundation, which I have myself, but not even a lot of people do. I don't know, I don't feel like the projects, like the assignments that we had much to do with what we were supposed to be learning. It was a lot of painting, and I don't know. One of the final things we had to do was a PowerPoint on a color, which I wish I could show you guys my PowerPoint because I made it so cute, and I got homeschooled and I never had to use PowerPoint, so this was literally my first time doing a PowerPoint. Maybe I'll find a way to link it one day if anybody wants to see my aesthetic PowerPoint on the color green. But that was like the time where we had to research for color psychology, which was fine, and I get it, but also I wish we even had like a sliver of discussion about color psychology throughout the class, because there really wasn't any discussion about that. I don't know, it just kind of felt like a disappointment in my humble opinion. It felt like a bit of a disappointment. But I did draw a snail. I painted a snail. Throughout the entire semester, I mean, I love bugs, as we know. My channel name is literally Moths Murmurs. I freaking love bugs a lot. And definitely, it kind of showed through most of my projects this semester, being able to kind of just do some free-handed things and do some actual art that I have some input in this time, because a lot of art things through college are, you know, they're not that personal. They're not things that you can really choose. But I mean, thus far, I've already told you about my like ladybug wire sculpture, and last semester I made a cardboard beetle sculpture, which I think in my very first video, I think I did show that. I still don't have any good pictures of that. I really would like to keep pictures. But you know, I crochet and just fiber arts in general. And this project, I made a giant Luna moth. So this is like my favorite thing. He hangs on the back of my door all the time. So I'll get to explain that. This is so cute. This little guy. He is made from a thrifted sheet. A lot of embroidery floss. His body is crocheted with fluffy yarn that I had. His little antenna are needle felted. His eyes are actually little crochet. Safety noses. That's why they are in fact a triangle, but his fuss kind of covers it up, so you can't really see that. But yeah, he is crocheted, machine sewed, hand sewed, kind of quilted. He has 2 layers of padding inside of his wings. There's some wire in here. And then all of these little patches were hand stitched on water-soluble stabilizer, and then I would wash them away and glue a fabric backing onto this to kind of make it into a patch, and then use liquid stitch to actually fix it onto the moth. So all of those little pieces, and this entire little red piece, both of those little pieces over here, were meticulously hand sewn, which took forever to use with an embroidery needle without poking yourself. And it's still not perfect, but I definitely think I could probably make little kid costumes with thrifted materials like this, and you can cut that out, babe. I definitely think I could make a little kid's costume business with this. I don't know, I think if I solidify some things, it could really work. I ended up naming this little dude Lupin, because Luna, I thought that would be cute. So this is Lupin. He chills on the back of my door. I don't know, I literally love him so much. I want to make more of these, or do more wings for costumes or something, because I think a Polyphemus, which is my favorite moth, I think that would look so freaking sick and just so cute. So I don't know, I got a great grade on this though, considering I work really well with fiber arts, and I had multiple medias, and I really wanted to show how much I could do with it. This was something that really kind of stood out and showed a lot of good intentions. So a lot of good qualities, not intentions, good qualities. So but yeah, this is Lupin. He's very cute. Alright, also the sun is going down slowly, so I apologize for the lighting. grayscale basically with 9 colors, I guess. So, going from white to black between 9 colors. And we would need to paint those on 9 separate sheets of paper and then cut them out and then kind of make a mosaic with the paper that you cut. So I did not finish this. I don't know if I will. I might make it into like a little mixed media project eventually, but that's what we ended up with, and I'm not going to do this right now, but I figured this was some intriguing texture. Okay, now for my next piece, I need to see if my iPad is even, like, charged. I'm gonna be honest, I have not checked that. That's gonna be an astounding no. Give me one second. Alright guys, I'm gonna be so honest. My iPad is taking forever to boot up. So, if we get to that one, like, actually, I was gonna get on my iPad and, like, tap on that to get some noise. I might, either just need to skip that one entirely for now, or just yap about it, but instead, we're gonna be moving on to my last, 3D project. I am not gonna be finding my color theory, my final for color theory. I could also pull up a picture of that. It was a pixelized portrait, which I could put up the picture that I took was supposed to be a upcycled sculpture. So this could be anything. It could be like a hard. It could be like a more firm sculpture or a soft sculpture, whatever. Because of my abilities and the fact that it was finals and I wanted to do something fun for myself, I did a soft sculpture, kind of. So this is actually a wall hanging, but we'll get to that part. We'll get to that part. I'll talk about this a little bit. I did indeed realize two things. Number one, the basis of this project was to make a travel poster, and it could be anywhere. It could be local, it could be somewhere you've never been, it could be a fantasy place, wherever. But we're making a travel poster in my 2D design class for it. I did a place pretty local to me, so I'm actually not going to share where that is. But I also realized 2 seconds ago when I started filming this that you guys really can't see crap, so I will show you guys on my iPad what this poster looks like, but I'm not going to be tapping because it really just it wasn't looking cute, but so this is my poster. Oh, I'm getting texts. Oh wow, that was from 2 weeks ago. I have a cute little bear, cute little bear, cute little bear, cute little bear. And it's very color blocked. I wanted to take some inspirations. I'll show a picture. I'll put the picture up on the screen of what it looks like as well, because this is not cutting it right now, and that's okay. That's alright. That's okay. That is okay. But overall, there was also a spelling error because when I finished that poster, I had to get it ordered from Staples within the next like 40 minutes before I wouldn't be able to get it in time for presentations in person, which it would have worked out anyway. A bunch of people have them at different sizes, but I wanted it to be an actual poster. The unfortunate reality, though, is that there is a spelling error, and I can't even say what it is, but I can't even say what it is because of, the fact that I don't want to say anything about where it is or what it's about or whatever. But it's a very easy word that I also definitely know how to spell. But I was delirious by the time I had to finish this and did not spell check before getting it printed, so unfortunately I also have this poster mounted on my wall with the incorrect word. So I think that's highly unfortunate, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. The last final thing that I kind of wanted to briefly talk about was the art show that my college had, and I was able to submit a piece about I'm not actually going to show that actually. Alright, I was originally going to talk about a different art piece that I included in my college's art show, which was the first one that they did for students, and I actually won an award for it as well, which was really cool and sweet to see. But judging by how long I've been filming and how much content I have to look through now, I think that would make this video probably double the time going into health related things, which eventually I would like to share with you guys because there's been a lot that's been on my mind. And I could really use prayer and thoughts and just anything, to be honest. I'm doing better than I was doing, but it's been a lot mentally on me. And it's been pretty rough to try and kind of just go on with life after things that have been happening, but I don't have the time today to discuss that on camera, and to tread carefully about what I share and what I don't share. But I did make a piece based on health diagnoses and just everything relating to that, and maybe in my next video, if it's something that you guys would be interested in me. I'm so sorry, my neighbors are driving and being loud, but that's something that you guys would be interested in hearing about, whether it's just like the health update or the health update and the art piece or whatnot. You can let me know. And also, maybe next time I will physically have the art piece, because it's still at my college. It gets picked up 2 days from now, is when it's able to get picked spring semester looked like. This fall semester I have a lot more graphic design based classes coming up, so I don't even know what my projects for that are going to end up looking like. But this was honestly a really fun semester all around, and I'm very thankful for it. And even if I didn't love all the pieces that I created or think that they were made to the best of my ability, they tested me, and they still are